Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode, a Thanksgiving episode of the Why I Love Disney podcast. I'm here with my friends David and Easton as always. How's it going, gentlemen?
Hey.
Hello, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I know we had big plans to go see some holiday movies over the last weekend. I got come down with some sickness, so I saw no movies. Still got a lot on the list to see. But I know you guys went out. So what did you see and what did you think of it?
Well, we actually last night we went and saw Wicked, and it was the worst movie I have ever seen.
Whoa, hot take.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I had a great time watching it.
Yeah, it was good. I would say it was better than I expected. And I thought it would be good, and I really thought it was better than I expected. I do think seeing the preview show that they did on television the other night, we watched a little bit of that. Actually made it even better. I thought that was some really good publicity before it went out. It made everybody feel a little more down to earth, and I don't know. This was good. The best part to me. No spoilers. I'll try to do no spoilers. The best part to me were I thought Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo did incredible jobs. I thought that was really good. The sets are amazing. It's huge. Like they really went all in. Like they want to build a theme park land. It was not cheap. It was very immersive. I think I was most concerned. And I think I said this in another podcast, but a lot of times when they do a Broadway retelling of a movie, suddenly it becomes so much about the performers that you're and there were a few times actually. Well, honestly, I went, oh look, man, she really did sing that. You wonder if their voices are going to fit that type of character, and so you pull out for a minute because you're like, man, she did it, and you forget for a minute, like, oh, I came out of story because I was thinking about the performer for a minute. But for the most part, I was not doing that. You get pulled in, and in a Broadway show, typically you're just thinking about the characters, not who is necessarily the one singing it. You kind of get pulled in more. And this, I was like, man, is it going to be more about them? And I thought they did a really good job keeping it about the character and less about the performer, which I appreciated because that's what makes a movie feel immersive, was when you get pulled completely in. It was overall, I mean, I think it's going to do so well, and it's going to be huge, and people are, I mean, already it's blowing up. Every time I open any kind of social media, there's somebody else singing a song or dressed up like one of the characters. I mean, it's just like it's taking over apparently. So yeah, that was good. I think we'll see it at Universal Parks.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is it's a Universal movie and it's a smash hit for them, and who knows, Epic Universe may get a Ozland. Who knows?
There were a couple of new nods to the old movie. The font of the movie, they did like the old MGM movie. I kind of wish it would have been fun if they could have had a lion roar at the beginning like the old Wizard of Oz. But it starts with the Universal logo. Then when it finally shows the Wicked logo, they don't do the Broadway. They do the old Wizard of Oz logo lettering. It's not exactly similar. And there's a few other times they use that lettering and things that it kind of gave it that retro. There were other things that I do think the pacing of this, we've seen Wicked and in a Broadway show that's like 2.5 hours. I guess it's about 2.5 or 3 hours. I mean, this is going to be twice that. And so the pacing of it helps you understand a few more things that in the show, you kind of have to see it a couple of times, I think, to go, what happened there? And what is that? What's going on here? And so I think the pacing of this actually helps a whole lot.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I am. It's on my list this week, right after Gladiator 2, and hopefully we'll get to it sooner rather than later. But I also want to ask about, anytime you go to see a movie like that, you got to tell me about the trailers. Do you see any interesting trailers? Anything coming out any news to be made, even among Disney-wise?
Well, we saw the trailer for Snow White,
Oh, that was kind of. I think that was the big news. Like, there's a Snow White trailer attached to Wicked, which makes sense. Maybe
Right.
similar demographic. So
That
what was
I've
there?
heard is not available online, but I didn't see anything in the trailer that I didn't feel like I had seen before. I felt like I had seen this trailer.
I think it was the exact same trailer. Because I heard the same thing, that they were showing a trailer for Wicked that they weren't doing on YouTube or anywhere else, because I guess
Right.
I guess it's kind of become the norm that there's a lot of bad publicity just around the whole movie. No one's really, from what I've seen, no one's really excited for it. So maybe they didn't want another. I don't know if you can have a flop trailer, but but something like
Right.
that.
Well, we saw.
Well, they didn't want to open up the comment section on the trailer.
That's
true.
So
That's
that's
true.
why
Right.
it's not online.
Well, we talked about a little bit of that last time, and I mean, when you watch this trailer, you could assume that this is just a retelling of the movie. That you see Snow White at the well, you see Snow White with the prince, you see her dancing around with the dwarves, you see the queen. You wouldn't know if they've changed the story, if it's exactly. You might assume this is just the same retelling. I'm not sure. I still don't know where it's going. I saw a clip this morning, an ad for a video I didn't watch, but it said Disney's $675 million problem was the title of an article. So, I heard recently that it has to make $1 billion to break even.
Thing.
With the cost of all I mean, who knows, but with the cost of making it and all the reshoots and all the remarketing. And I mean, marketing is on top. If you see a budget for a movie, my understanding is that doesn't count post-production. It doesn't count marketing. So things are usually double sometimes what they say they cost. And so that it has to make like $1 billion to break even. And that's pretty scary, because I'm not sure it's going to do that.
Yeah, not a lot of movies do.
I think they have to rely on that people are going to assume that it's the same movie. And again, I'm not sure we'll go into the next film. I'm really not sure why we have to redo all these animated movies live action if it's going to be the same. And at the same time, if they don't change it, then people get mad at that. I don't know. I still hold true that they should not have done Snow White. They shouldn't have done Pinocchio. I don't think they really should have done Peter Pan. The rest of it you can try, but what have we really seen do great? Dumbo? No. Lady and the Tramp? No. I mean, a lot of these have just not done very well. So we got Lilo and Stitch coming, so we'll see. And then we also saw the preview of Easton. I'll let you say.
Yeah, we saw the preview for the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which I'd seen clips of.
Which looked good.
Yeah, I'd seen clips of it, but I've never seen the full trailer before, and it does look really good.
Looks good. Again, I would be going, and why? But hey, they're opening a whole theme park land, so that's if it's good publicity. Is it gonna be exact retelling? I guess there are just some people that are like, I'd like to see that, but I'm not going to watch it if it's animated. So they're going to make a live action version, which is full of animation. But some people are real. Some people are human,
Well, it could be too, like the first one came out long enough now that those kids have grown up, and they maybe you've seen Diagon Alley and a dragon there, right? And you've seen maybe you've touched your toe into Game of Thrones or something like that, and
Right.
And so the idea of seeing a real dragon on screen might be, a new take on it. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know what you're saying. Like, dragons aren't realistic enough. You know what I mean? Like, I need my realistic dragons, not my animated dragons. But it is a great. I still feel like it's made a ton of money, but an underrated movie. Underrated.
Yeah, it's
franchise.
definitely one of my favorite animated movies. I think it's great, and definitely in the outside of Disneyland for sure. I mean, and with Disney, it's a great movie.
I did end up seeing the Lilo and Stitch trailer, and I gotta say, like the animation on that, the graphic animation is pretty awesome. I say animation, you know what I'm talking about, the CGI. it's done. It looks like it's going to be done really well. I'm really excited about it.
And I do think that's a really good type of movie that I would like to see a live action of for some reason. Like that, I've said Sword in the Stone would be a really good one. Black Cauldron. Some of the ones that are kind of in their little zone, and their little time in history, their little period piece. Like I love Sword in the Stone. But I think that could be one like Jungle Book, where they took it and you could go somewhere new. You don't have to repeat it exactly as it was done before, but you can get in some major plot points and to bring it into the parks and things like that. So Lilo is one of those. Again, I just don't know that I think we needed a Snow White that was going to be controversial for sure. I think there's some of these that you can go there and you go, hey, we could do something new. We can nod to this, and we can keep it grounded in the animated movie, but we can do something new that we couldn't do 50 years ago. And
yeah, I think that could be a lot of it too. It'll be interesting to see. I'm curious to see how these things do, because it's a mixed bag. Lion King, of course, did amazing. Some of them do very well. Some of them go straight to Disney Plus, and they hide them. We'll see.
Easton and I were doing. We saw this trivia thing the other day, and we were kind of blown away like how many movies came out in 2019. I mean, that was a huge year for Disney. Remember before the pandemic, it was just blowing up, and like man, it was like boom, boom, boom. Like every 2 months, it was like Dumbo, Aladdin, Lion King. Boom. I mean, it was just like Maleficent too. I mean, it was just like one thing after another.
Infinity War or Endgame?
And all the Marvel. You were going to the movie every month. It was momentum. It was like this, and you kind of got caught up into it. And that's what, and then this kind of like the bubble burst.
Yeah.
And now it's like, when's the next thing come out? Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. I think that momentum of, when's the next one? Oh, there's another one in another month. I mean, I think that had to have been part of it. And that they took, you had Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, which are three of the biggest movies from the 90s era, all back to back, and, pretty much. And so that just kind of moved people into that momentum. And so I'm not sure that Snow White quite has that momentum.
It certainly does. You could kind of feel them trying to capture something or put something to. They're definitely working to flip the narrative. You could tell that.
Right, and I would have thought, and again, I think we've talked about this before too, but with Snow White, it's going to come up. It's going to become public domain at some point in the near future, and I would think that they need to get that rebranded. They need to get those costumes, some things like that, just kind of fixed so that it's protected. So I wouldn't think you'd want to go too far away. But hey, I told you the other day I saw some Steamboat Willie merchandise in a store, and it was completely not Disney.
Wow. It
was totally marketing Steamboat Willie and Winnie the Pooh, and it looked just like Disney, but it was not Disney. But it was, and so, those things are coming where these characters and a lot of these properties are going to go into public domain, and they're going to have a lot of things like that out there on the shelves that look like Disney, but they're not. So maybe that's part of it, is rebranding. I just don't know why they want to change everything so much. But I think the biggest lesson from Snow White and a lot of these properties is learning to control this talent. I mean, it happens in other properties, from Star Wars to everything else. I mean, even with things we saw with Pirates. With celebrities and their lives, you've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of comments, a lot of things that get out there and affect characters.
Right.
So I'm always amazed, like maybe when we saw the advertisement for the Muppets taking over Rock and Roller Coaster, and it says, with some of your favorite music celebrities or something like that. Maybe they kind of hinted that it might be the Muppets plus somebody else, and it was like, oh man, are we going to do that again? Are we going to take a chance of adding somebody that might say something wrong or might do something out of Disney's liking or the public's liking, or they might date? I don't know. Sometimes I wish they could just stick to making things that didn't rely on celebrity opinions.
Yeah, I think right now you got to be very careful with all of that. It's just not the climate where people have a lot of patience for being lectured or preached to.
Yeah.
And we'll see. I don't think that helps the bottom line anymore. Again, used to, maybe it didn't matter so much, maybe people didn't care, but people are just, I feel like, a lot more sensitive to that. And unfortunately, your marketing department's going to have to keep that in mind a little bit more, I think.
When you go back to really the old days, now a lot of Disney did use a lot of people who were known. I mean, there were characters, that were done by comedians that people knew from radio. There were characters that people had seen in movies. They used a lot of character actors. They did not use a lot of headliners. You didn't see the biggest box office stars voicing Disney characters. And in fact, he didn't even give credit in the original Snow White. He didn't even tell her name because he didn't want people thinking about who was Snow White. Snow White was Snow White. And a lot of people said, well, that wasn't really fair because she didn't even get any notoriety from it. But hardly anybody got notoriety from that first movie because he wanted you immersed in those stories and that you saw a moving drawing acting and not a live action person. And so, I really don't remember, around Robin Williams being the genie that you started noticing voice acting.
It's true.
And then now it's just become the thing. It's like we have to have a headliner play everything. And sometimes it really gets in the way because if the headliner falls out of grace with the public, now you've got a property that is affected forever. We are headed out to our fast pass trip to Disney World for a couple of days. So we got to squeeze that in.
Let me ask you about that. What are you most excited about getting in on this little fast trip?
Well, actually, when we planned it, it was, again, because, the word is that Frontierland's going to have a major overhaul. And I was thinking, man, I would hate that the last time I went that there were a lot of things I didn't do, a lot of these things I didn't spend time in. So I'd like to go one more time. Easton has not seen these things at all. He's not been to Thomas Sawyer Island and some of the other things. So we thought, well, let's just go. We'll spend a big day in Magic Kingdom and do all these things that Easton hasn't done before and I haven't done in a while before they go away. And then we found out on top of all that Muppets 3D is going away. And so Easton hasn't done that. So we're going to have a chance to get over there and at least experience that before it goes away. And so that's what it kind of feels like we're, kind of going when you're trying to get these things in before they're gone forever. Feels a little bit like a funeral. Like we gotta go do these things before they're gone. So, but it's gonna be good. We're gonna have a good time, and hey, at least I'm glad we get a day or two to do this and get to experience it one more time. I'm still not sure what to think. A lot of backlash. I mean, since we met last, people on both sides. I've seen articles about people complaining that Muppets, it was Jim Henson's legacy, and you're taking it away. A lot of that. A lot of that. And I've also heard quite a bit of backlash that people don't want the Muppets in Hollywood studios. I mean, Rock and Roller Coasters. So, what do you do? I mean, there are people that are like adamant. WDW News Today was very adamant that Disney can't get rid of it. They have to at least move it. They have to put it somewhere else. They have to have another location where you can watch this film and not Disney Plus. Not Disney Plus. They want to go experience it in the park. So maybe they'll figure out, maybe they'll put it in that where the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy was there beside Rock and Roller Coaster. Who knows? We'll have to see. I guess it will depend on the response. But, there was quite a bit of people talking about that they knew these plans at D23 and they didn't share it. I think that seems to be what offended people the most was you announced all these things and you got everybody excited, but you didn't tell everybody what was going away. And you knew what you were getting ready to do, and you didn't announce that. So
But to be optimistic, maybe we'll like this more. You know what I mean? Like maybe we'll like these things more. I don't know. We'll see. You never know. You never know. It's always difficult to keep the balance of innovating and moving forward and trying something else out new and also keeping your core audience super happy, right? Too. So
Right.
It's difficult to do for sure.
Right.
Well, I hope it will be better. I think. Again, to quote the guys from WWNT, he said, if you're going to take something that people love and cherish, and then you say, we're going to have a new show, but you can't give them any kind of indication of what that's going to be, it gets kind of scary because you're kind of feeling like you're taking this away and we don't really feel like what's coming. Like it's not really thought out yet. That's and I think I'm a little bit like that with the Frontierland. It's like, I don't know. I mean, Radiator Springs Racers at California Adventure is an amazing attraction. It's amazing. It's the better test track, and you get the dark ride. You get immersed into Cars World, all that. It's just incredible. Really top Disney. But we're getting something different, and it's like, is this the same thing? Is it going to be as good as that? I don't know. I mean, I think that's, there's a lot of doubt in people's minds because of things that Moana experience didn't give people a lot of, Epcot's down for a long time and we get this water experience, like things like that. It's like I don't think public perception is high. That's what I do think is high over at Epic Universe. I think with Hagrid's and with Velocicoaster and some things like that, their expectations are high. So we'll know better when May hits and Epic Universe opens. That's going to set the bar for how well they did it, and if it's like this is next level, then at that point you're going, well, now we have to have something. We have to have something in Frontierland. We got to have something somewhere. I want those things. I just don't want to rip out something else. Why couldn't it be Beyond Thunder Mountain like we originally talked about? Why does it have to be in the middle of the park? So that's probably enough about that.
Well, fellas, it's always fun to talk to you. Again, happy Thanksgiving to you and all of our listeners. We would love it if you would share the episode with somebody. We're quickly approaching our 100th episode very soon. We're excited about that. Won't be too long, will it, Easton? How many we got?
Our next episode will be our 100th episode.
Oh my goodness. We got to plan something special for that for sure. Our 100th episode of the Wild of Disney podcast. Thank you all for tuning in week and week out with us. We really appreciate your time. Share an episode with somebody. You can reach us at whyIloveDisney.com and now on TikTok as well. Search for us there. Until next time, until our 100th episode, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving.